Hello. I wish I could be there with you as you celebrate the life of your mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, friend to so many, and cousin to me, Shirley Niemeyer. You all have a very special place in my heart, and I wish I could be there with you, like I said. But just know that Jean and I are there with you in spirit as we rely on this electronic media. We find comfort in scriptures during times like these because during times like these sometimes we feel so lost and so alone and we missed our loved ones. And so we can turn to the scriptures, like I said, for comfort. In John 14, 1 through 4, Jesus comforts his disciples and he says to them, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you with me, so that you may be where I am. You will know the place where I am going." I want to talk about that a little bit later, the place where Shirley is and where hopefully we'll be going. But before I do that, I just want to remember a few things about Shirley. The first thing I remember is that Shirley was a very hard worker. Shirley had a full-time job, all the while raising 5 children and keeping the books from the family dairy business. She loved her children and all their own unique personalities. She was with them during the hard times and during the great times. Her grandchildren brought a smile to her face. They were the apple of her eye. She would do anything for her grandchildren as well. They just brought so much joy and comfort to her. She also was a good friend to so many. We could always rely and depend on Shirley. She loved her immediate family besides her mom and dad. She was a very good friend to my mother. And they loved each other very much. Sometimes Shirley would just come over and just spend time with her, just sit down and have a chat. Even though she had all the responsibilities of her life with her children and her work, she still took out time to love on my mom. That's the type of person she was, and we can really learn from her example. Another fun memory I have of Shirley is that she loved the music of Johnny Mathis. Oh my gosh, she thought the man had the best voice in the whole world, and she loved listening to his music. She thought he was pretty good looking too. She bought his records, she watched the TV shows that he was on, she even went to some of his concerts. When I found out that she was in hospice, I thought it was only fitting that Johnny Mathis had a concert right here in St. Louis at the Fox Theater. I almost bought a ticket in her honor, but I thought it just wouldn't be right to go without Shirley. We live in such a small world with electronic media, social media, cell phones. Tony and Gail and I talked a couple times about that glorious reunion and what it would be like, and with the loved ones that have gone on to heaven before her. I like to think about heaven. I reflect on it quite a bit and I study it and I've read about it. One of the books I read is by Randy Alcorn and it's just called Heaven. This book is more of a reference book about heaven because of Randy Alcorn's research that he's done. In his book he writes, "For us the ultimate reunion will be followed by endless adventures together. We'll likely have many temporary partings followed by absolute certainty of reunions. Never again will there be any separation of death with suffering, and never again will there be sorrow. Never again will we wonder if we will see those we love. Bishop Riley assured his flock, and he said, 'Those whom you laid in the grave with many tears are in good keeping. You will yet see them again with joy. Believe it, think on it, rest on it, for it is all true. So what was that reunion like? You know, I read the scripture about in my home there's many mansions and many places for you, and I often wondered if the loved ones that went on before us, if they're involved in helping to prepare a place for us. If Shirley's mom and dad and my mother, just to name a few, were involved in preparing that place, getting ready, knowing that she would soon be there with them. And what about that reunion? I can just imagine the celebration, all the hugs, all the love, all the joy that took place, all the kisses. They're probably having a great big party there in heaven without us. So what about that? What about us? What are we to do? Because right now we're feeling sad. I know when I first learned that Shirley went up to heaven, my heart was really sad that she was gone. So what are we to do? Well, Jesus tells us in Matthew that the first thing to do is just to love God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, and with all of our might. His second commandment said to love each other as He has loved us. You know, I think Shirley did that. I think she loved not only her children, her grandchildren, great-grandchildren, but everyone she associated with. I think she showed the love of God. She was a great example for us. So now, as we feel lost and alone, it's okay to cry. It's okay to grieve. But just remember and celebrate the life that Shirley had, loving everyone that she came across. It's in her honor that we would try to do the same and live by that example. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you today my thoughts on Shirley. I really appreciate it. Know that our hearts are with you.